Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Bette, the owner of Bette Hochberger. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit more. What do you guys do at Bette Hochberger?
Sure, so we're a boutique CPA firm in the Miami area, and we do a couple of different accounting services. We do a lot of tax preparation and strategy, and we also do a lot of contract CFO, contract controller, outsourced accounting, focusing on kind of three main verticals. We work with a lot of real estate, a lot of service businesses like doctors, lawyers, consultants, marketers, things like that. And then we also work in the crypto Web3 space as well and with technology startups.
Nice. So a couple of different things. And then I know when we spoke last, you said one of the big things you guys are currently working on is implementing AI a bit more into the business. Can you tell us a little bit more in terms of that?
Sure. So I love technology, always have, always will. And when AI started becoming really popular, I looked at it and I'm like, this could probably make a lot of what we do faster, better, easier, more streamlined. So we actually brought in an AI consultant. He is a PhD from MIT, smart guy. And we said, okay, just look at everything we do and find us ways to do it better. And in some instances, that was, oh, let's utilize the tools that are being implemented by software like QuickBooks, right? Like they're putting a bunch of AI in. And in other things, it's been, well, how can we just streamline or how can we find better processes to do what we're already doing? And an important feature of trying to like change your technology is you really have to have like a no sacred cows philosophy towards it. Meaning you can't say like, oh well, I could never give up, XYZ software because I love it and I've always used it and blah blah blah. It's like, no, tear everything apart. How do we make this work better? And it's been a little bit of trial and error, right? Not everything that just because they slap an AI sticker on it doesn't mean it's gonna change your world. But for a lot of things, it's made some big improvements.
Nice. Yeah. That's definitely what I find as well. It's like one of the key things is having the systems communicate with each other as well. So you could have this good AI thing, but if it doesn't communicate with what you use for your CRM and stuff, it's pretty pointless. So that's definitely true. Just because it's AI doesn't always mean it's good. But that's really interesting that you brought on a AI consultant. I haven't really spoken to anyone who has done that. So what led you to decide, hey, let's bring on an AI consultant and just do they work like full time or how do they kind of integrate into the business?
Sure. So he's not full time. It was we started like 10 hours a week because we needed him to, even beyond the AI, we needed him to look at all of our operations. Like he literally sat with every staff member and was like, show me what you do. Show me what your workflow is. What are you currently using? And sometimes it was easy. It was like, oh, well, instead of, using ChatGPT for this thing, just, use what's built into like Google Drive and things like that. So some of it was just eliminating unnecessary steps. Some of it was just completely rethinking processes. But the reason we brought in a consultant was I am not an AI person. I'm not a software engineer. Like, I don't work in those spaces. I'm like a tax and accounting person. That's where my head is. And the amount of time it would take me to evaluate all these different software, it's not worth it, right? In the end, it's like I'm going to spend so much time trying to learn like how to back end integrate these different apps into my CRM, which I love that you said that because that's exactly what we're always fighting is like we use Zoho CRM. We're always like, okay, but does it connect with Zoho? Like it's like almost a joke at this point. But we needed somebody that had the expertise and who had the technological know-how to like look at something. And sometimes those salespeople are good at their jobs, right? So you're looking at the software and you're like, there was like a portal that we found that we were like, oh my God, this will be amazing. This is going to be perfect. My director of client success was like, this is going to change the world. And then they couldn't make it integrate with our CRM. And we're like, well, it might, change the world, but it's not going to change our world because it doesn't work. So you
Mhm.
do need somebody that has that technological understanding of making the systems talk to each other. But also, the thing that was nice about bringing in an outside consultant, he had no attachment to anything.
Mm,
None at all. He wasn't like, well, I built this, portal for Zoho, so we have to use it because I spent a month of my life building. He didn't care. He really didn't care. He's like, my objective is my user or my users happy, and is it moving the data to the places it needs to be?
mhm.
Okay, right. When you don't have like the internal politics, I mean, not that my firm's so big, but when you don't have the internal politics or the attachments, or the own agenda of like, I need this to make myself look important in the firm, you can just get things built.
Yeah, I definitely find that as well. Sometimes you get so into a process that you're doing, you don't question it anymore. And just like you said, it takes that outside perspective. Like one of the clients I'm working with, and then I'm looking at what they're doing, and I'm like, why do you do it like this? Would this not be so much more efficient? Why do you do it like that? And it is, like you said, having that outside perspective, so someone that hasn't been in the process the whole time definitely helps you see like blind spots that you may not have thought about. And then I also like that you brought in like an outside consultant to help you with your consulting business. I would find some firms a little bit as well. They like business consulting firms, that type of thing. They don't really want to do it because they're like, if I'm consultant, why do I need to get my own consultant to help me with this type of stuff? And then I think it, like you said, specializing in like you focus on areas that you want to specialize in, and then why not get outside consultants? It's like you're practicing what you preach. You're saying other businesses should get a consultant, so why should you not get a consultant? So I like that you're open-minded enough to bring someone in to do those things.
Yeah. I mean, I always love to find somebody really smart and really good at what they're doing to help me solve a problem,
Mm,
right? Like, I hope that's why my clients are hiring me, right? They're like, you're smart, you know what you're doing. Here, come fix this for us. I want the same thing for myself. I want somebody like really smart to come in. And what was great was because he's not attached to anything, I have a CRM consultant for Zoho, right? So he was working directly with her. He's like, I don't know Zoho. I can understand like the integration aspect of it, but this person that is the expert on Zoho, she's already another consultant that I use. My consultants are consulting with each other. Right? So that was great to have like the people that could specialize in the different things work together to make
mhm.
everything work better. But yeah, we had processes that were like, well, I'm like, we do it this way because when it was just me, when I was like a one woman show, this is how I did it. That was a long time ago. That was like years ago. I haven't been the one driving that, like dumb things like getting electronic signatures. I haven't been the one to do that in years. Maybe once in a while in an emergency I would do it, but it hasn't been the process that I owned in a long time. So for him to be like, "Do you realize that this is like a 20-step process?" I'm like, "I have no idea. I don't know. I don't even know what they're doing,
Yeah.
to get it done." So, and I don't know that staff feels empowered all the time to change what I did when I handed it to them and I said, "Here, this is how to do it." So it was also good to have somebody else come in and be like, you don't have to do it that way just because Bette used to do it that way a decade ago. Like, there's better ways now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like not just getting stuck in going through the motions, and like I always say that, yeah, just question everything every single time, and everything people tell you also question that, and then you're always like you're growing. And then so what? Do you have any examples of like solutions that this AI consultant has implemented that has really benefited your business?
Yes. So, I can be a victim of myself sometimes, right? We're actually implementing SmartVault because we got to a point we were trying to find a portal that we liked and we couldn't and the clients didn't like it and we'd find things we'd be like, well, it's great except for X, right? Or this has everything but this one feature we really really need. And with the specifications of it had to work with CRM or have an open API so that we could make it talk to our CRM. And we're using for the tax side ProConnect Tax. Well, SmartVault already had an integration there, and now we're using Juno Tax, which is going to be our AI tax research and tax preparation assistant. It also worked with SmartVault, and in my head, I'm like, I looked at SmartVault like literally a decade ago. and it looked like garbage. Like if the interface was bad, everything was bad. I'm like, I'm not using this, crusty old software. And he was like, you need to look at it again. Like you need to like hang up your preconceived notions. It's going to check all your boxes. And I was like, okay, fine. And turns out they're also implementing a lot of AI functionality. So so sometimes the consultant needs to help the business owner as well, just get over like what they think about a product that's maybe an outdated thought process. So that's the biggest one that we're implementing. He helped us look at some of the AI tax tools from that lens of the is it going to work with our other software and whatnot, but the evaluation of like what tool are we going to use ultimately was me because the subject matter expertise for the does it work with the tax software the way that we want, and does it give us good research for the tax research piece. But he did help us identify and figure out like, okay, you need X, Y, and Z. The thing we're working on right now is time tracking, which, show me an accounting firm that likes time tracking. And we're so trying to get away from billable hours. But we still need to know, when our projects become unprofitable, which is hard to do without knowing how much time my very expensive employees are spending on projects. But, there's not like really another way to judge. So we're trying to make that as like seamless for all the accountants as possible. So, that's a whole different level of discovery on that kind of software, because there are tools that will just watch everything you do, and that's kind of creepy. So I kind of wanted to stay out of the creepy zone, but I wanted it to be easier for everyone to use to track time. So we haven't mastered that one yet, but we're working on it.
Okay, nice. I've got a suggestion. Have you tried a Toggle? TOGGL, I believe it.
But does it integrate with Zoho? That's the
I don't know. OGGL. It's what
okay. I
I
will tell him.
Yeah, I used to track all my time, and it's really good. It's like the user interface is really good as well, really good visuals and everything. And it's like a free. I'm on a free version, and it's
Really?
everything I need. But obviously, if you have more users and stuff, I imagine there's gonna be a paid one. But yeah, it could be worth checking out Toggle. It's pretty good. And it doesn't yet go into the creepy zone. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then, so what would you say is aside from like the time tracking, what is one of the other areas you'd say in the business that's not working as well as what you would like?
Um, Not working. So our well, we're taking it out of the equation via process, right? So billing. Oh man, billing sucks, right? For a lot of our more consultative projects, they're like a monthly recurring fee. But tax return preparation, we have been struggling to get away from an hourly bill because you sometimes just don't know, right? If I end up having to call the IRS for a client, well, I might sit on hold for 2 hours. Like, there's no way to just say, okay, here's what it is, and then we have to bill them at the end. And nobody likes it, right? Like, it's like when you get it from your attorneys. You don't like that either when you get those hourly bills. So we're actually just right now kind of restructuring how we bill to avoid that. But again, it's still based on the time, right? We had to look at our historical information of how long did it take us to prepare various types of tax returns. And we got super granular, like looking at forms and what makes this client complicated. Like we spent a couple hours really like digging through to kind of build a way to price it to be better. But the final billing, it's related to the time. So since we haven't solved the time, it's still a little bit of a hassle. But that's been one that's just been painful forever and ever.
Yeah, so it's more getting a way to see how much to charge a client for the
Yeah,
different projects essentially.
yeah, yeah. That one I think is hard. I know there's fans of like the value billing and all kinds of stuff out there, but I'm like, tax returns I find are kind of a commodity. Like you just hit a point where people are like, it's not worth it. Just fill out the papers and send it to the IRS, please. All right, so there's only so much you can do in that
Yeah.
area. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I imagine it would be a little bit tricky depending to try to see exactly how much to charge a client. And also the process of determining how much to charge a client also takes up a bit of time
Yes.
to see as well. So you're losing time trying to see that, then trying to see how much would you charge them. So yeah, I definitely imagine it would be a little bit tricky. And then so what's some of the goals for like the next couple of months for you guys?
I think next couple of months we're really hoping that the all these new systems and like new AI assisted tools that we're bringing in will just streamline operations. I always want to have everything super well documented, relatively easy. So that's really what we're focused on, like ease of use. Because a lot of times, I mean, if you've used Zoho, sometimes you can build things in Zoho where it's like, you know, 30 steps to get this one thing finished. And it's like, can we make this faster? Can we make it more intuitive and just, streamline and document it in a way that if anyone needed to hop into anyone else's role in the firm, they could. So if someone, God forbid, gets hit by a bus, well, we're not down because, well, nobody knew, how to, I don't know, electronically file a tax return except for this one guy. We can kind of
Mhm.
cross collaborate as far as sharing knowledge and processes. Operational streamlining is really the goal for the beginning of the year.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I love a good SOP myself as well. And then I think what's good with the SOP when you document it, it also highlights different areas that could maybe be more efficient when you really think, okay, I click on this, I do this, I go to that, and you really like analyze the process, and then you can just makes it a little bit more clear. Okay, what can I do to make these steps quicker? And also, like you said, if someone leaves or anything like that, you always have that backup. And you have that process that anyone else could come in and do as well.
Yep, yep, 100%. We have to like kind of it's like create AI bots of ourselves. This is right. Could anyone be replaced? Can you just literally become a cog? Like, people obviously aren't cogs, but could the job function be a bit of a cog that you could
Mhm.
just replace people as needed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and essentially with the whole AI stuff, you also do need SOPs for to see how you should structure your AI and what the tasks that it would do. So it's good in terms of that as well. Cool. And I know we're starting to run out of time here. So what would you say has been like the we'll finish on what would you say is one of the like best lessons that you've learned in business or multiple? Like what would you say is like one of the good lessons that you've learned?
I like the saying, how you do one thing is how you do all things, because it applies to literally everything, right? Like you see it with clients when we have clients that come in and say like, "Oh, I haven't filed my taxes for 5 years." It's like, "Well, okay, but you have all your books up to date for those 5 years, right?" No, because how you did one thing was how you did all things, right? But your records are immaculate. You have every bank statement. No, because how you did one thing is how you do all things. So I really I think it's just a reflection on on people in general. You just see.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, sometimes you could be really good at one specific thing, but in general, our approach to life is,
Yeah.
how you do this one thing, it's how you do everything. So I try to bring like a lot of like um, high expectations to everything that I do. So then each individual thing I put a high expectation on. So try to just be performing at a high level all the time. So people don't just say like, well, normally Bet's good, but this one time it's like, no, she's always good, right? We know what to expect, always performing at a high level. And I think that you can usually generally say that about almost every situation.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the crazy thing is, I actually wrote that down this very morning. It's literally, I wrote that exactly down this
What?
morning. That exact how you do one thing is how you do everything. I'm reading a book. It's called The Monk That Sold His Ferrari, and then that was like one of the things that they talk about, and also one of the things that I 100% believe in. And then literally this morning, like 2 hours ago, I wrote that down.
Well, you just like zapped it into my brain here.
Pretty crazy
I
that
mean,
you say that as well. Yeah,
I say it all the time, but that's wild. That's really crazy that
yeah.
you
But
would write that down.
I Yeah, I 100% agree with it as well. I even find it's not just in business as well. It's also like your health. And I found I'd usually do the best that I did in business was when I was doing the best health wise and I was eating clean. I was staying
Mm,
disciplined to my gym schedule. I was having like organized with that. And then when I wouldn't go or I'd be like missing sessions, then the business would impact as well. And it's so true. So like you said, I just try every single area, maximize everything.
yeah, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy to do that. You know, as life gets busy and whatever. I definitely am not hitting the workouts the way I should. But no, I like that line. I'm sure there's others, but that one just always kind of sticks in my head.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah, and I like that the client example as well. That they didn't do the tax returns, and then the books was also a mess. And it's like, yeah, you can kind of tell, or like even like me with like when I have like prospects, and then they don't show up to the first call, then usually they're not going to show up to the second call. It's just like,
yeah,
and usually when you start working, and then they're a mess and everything, and you're just like, okay, yeah, it was like from the very first thing that's how they do everything.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Well, it's been great chatting. I could keep going a lot longer, but where can people go and find a little bit more about you and what you guys do?
Sure. So my website is bettehochberger.com, and we are on like kind of any social media you could imagine. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Twitch, because reasons. I don't know. Again, I bring in the marketers. The marketers have the expertise, not me. I'm not a marketer, so I just do a little bit of content creation. But we do share a lot tax and accounting strategies. So happy to help anybody who happens to find us.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll include those links in the show notes below. It's been great having you on the show. You guys have been listening
Thank
to the
you.
Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.